Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Overcast. I am your host, David Kaelin. I'm the Game Over CEO, and welcome back. Sorry we missed you last week with the show. We were doing Classic Game Fest, and it was honestly just really crazy last week. So I'm glad we didn't do a show because it would have been a nightmare. You would have seen me being so stressed out and crazy that I don't know if anybody would enjoy it. Actually, probably everybody except me would enjoy it. But anyway, sorry we missed the show. So this is our 2-week power-packed, action-packed show that's going to sum up everything that happened at CGF last weekend. Hopefully you guys were there and came to check it out because it was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Was it big, Dan?
It was big.
That is what she said.
No kissing booth.
No kissing booth, though. Yeah, we didn't get the kissing booth going. I'm sorry, Dan, that we ended up selling out of booths and we had no space for you in your kissing booth.
Maybe next
sorry.
year.
Maybe next year. We would have been all the better for it, though. But yeah, so had a great weekend at CGF. It was fantastic. It was crazy. It was one of the most stressful weekends of the entire year for me, as it always is. But it turned out pretty well. You know, some bumps and bruises along the way, but it overall, as usual, came through and was a rousing success.
You got a tattoo? Show them your tattoo.
Yeah, I got a tattoo. Here, let me show you my tattoo. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Beep. No, I did not get a tattoo. But did you see they had a tattoo booth? Yeah, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And do you know they were full all weekend? They were tattooing people from open to close both days solid all CGF weekend. It was pretty amazing. So anyway, but yeah, I'm going to save that for later because I want to talk about all the big super packed full rundown on CGF is coming up later in the show. So stay tuned for that. But right now it is episode 25. So this is our post CGF wrap up show. Sorry again we missed last week, but let's jump right into it and go to level 1 and current events and see what's happening in the world of gaming. And we're back with level 1 current events. So let's see what's going on in the world of gaming and retro gaming specifically. A couple of stories, and I've mentioned these actually earlier on the show, but got a little more details, and they're back kind of in the press these past few weeks. The Sega Genesis Mini 2 is coming out October 27th. It's going to have 50 games, higher power unit that includes Sega CD games this time too. So that's going to be really cool. So that's kind of a big retro gaming story. Then also we've got the Lego Atari set. Which we also mentioned on the show a couple of weeks ago, but I've been hearing a lot about that lately. They've showed pictures and details, and it actually looks really cool. I mean, I think it's cool. I want to get one. That's cool. Yeah, so there's a lot of Lego sets these days that are pretty big and grand, you know, and pretty much made for adults. But this is one that I actually want to buy. Like, I will buy this when it comes out. So, but anyway, it's a Lego Atari set. So it's an Atari like this one over here, the original 2600 1977 version. It's all to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Atari. It's going to come out August 1st, which is probably about when you're watching the show. It's like next week. So, I mean, today.
Go get it. Today's
Friday, and so then the first is in like a couple days. So by the time you watch the show, it's probably already out on your shelves in the stores near you. But it has the hardware. It has a joystick like this. It'll have little cartridges. It's going to have 3 cartridges: the Adventure, the Asteroids, and the Centipede cartridges. And each one of those cartridges will like kind of, I don't know if it flips into or transforms into, or you can rebuild it into, but somehow you turn it into a little scene from the game. So like it has an Adventure cartridge, and you turn it into the little yellow castle from Adventure.
Oh,
and
yeah, like the N64 one. There's a big question block that transforms.
Yeah, exactly. And the Atari itself, like it opens up and it has like a little classic 80s game room in there. Like you pop the lid and it flips up and you see a little like game room.
That's cool, man.
So it's pretty cool. So it's got 2,532 pieces. It's going to be 3 inches high, 13 inches wide, 8.5 inches deep. And yeah, it comes out Monday, August 1st. It's going to be $239. So it's kind of a lot for Legos, but
how much is it?
$239.
Nice.
Does that sound like a lot?
Well, the average.
I haven't bought Legos for my kids in a while, but I know they're always kind of expensive.
The average per piece price is about 10 cents. So
that's true. If you divide that out, that's like nothing.
That's under.
That's nothing per piece. So, but of course with that, you know, once you put it together, you're never going to like take it apart, and you're never going to like just dump them in with all your other Legos in the big bucket in the kids' room. You're going to want this like in the adult room. You're going to want this in your game room.
That's not the Lego you play with.
Yeah, if your kids are like, hey, those pieces would make a cool, like, airplane or whatever, you'd be like, keep your damn hands off my Atari. Keep your damn hands off. You go play with yours with all the, like, red and blue and just the rectangle boring pieces. I got these cool pieces on my Atari, and I'm never taking that apart. Anyway, so that's coming out soon. But really, that's all the news I've got. I just wanted to talk about those because those are the only ones that interest me. There's a lot of other big stuff going on in current gen type gaming, but I don't care about that. So we're going to skip that. So let's go on to in the stores. We've got some cool products here that we got from Classic Game Fest. Some of our friends at Eon Gaming, they make the like super high quality, high end video connectors for Nintendo 64 and GameCube. And we have the the indigo and the black for GameCube, and then there's only a black one for N64 right here on display. But basically, each one of those, they're $159. We have them available in our website again. They've been, ever since the pandemic, in really, really short supply. So when we saw Eon Gaming out at Classic Game Fest last weekend, I always kind of twist their arm a little bit, and I'm like, hey, can you bring a little extra of those? Because these days it's really hard to get stuff out of China. Like, they're still really suffering with the COVID stuff and the shutdowns, and so manufacturing is not even now 2 years in up to where it was. So it's hard to get stuff like this sometimes out of China, and but we've got them, and we got a little restock from them at CGF, and so we're going to be putting those on the website today. So by the time you watch this video, you can go to GameOverVideogames.com, and we probably are one of the only places in the country that will have these in stock, the Eon adapters for high definition, high resolution gaming on your original GameCube and N64 hardware. So definitely check those out on our website, GameOverVideogames.com. So that's the new products in our store, or restocked products in our store. So now let's go on to level 2, and we're going to talk about company events and see what's going on at your local Game Over Video Game store. And we're back with level 2 current events. Not current events, level 2 company info.
Current events of the company.
It's been a few weeks since I've done the show. I'm a little rusty, a little bloop, bloop, wah, 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 wah. Okay, got to get the rust off the hinges here. Okay, level 2, company info. What's going on at your local Game Over Video Game store? Aside from awesomeness happens every day.
Every day.
It's free of charge, free with purchase, and free just for coming in. So come see our awesomeness. But in addition to awesomeness, we do have sales, and the sale going on right now from July 29th through August 4th is a Nintendo 64 controller sale. Because those have the 4 controller ports, and you want to have 4 controllers. Normally you have one really good one around the house, and that one, of course, is yours. But when your friends come over, they need controllers too. But they're not touching your good one, are they? No. But you need 3 other controllers for them that are pretty decent, pretty good. You'll probably still beat them at the games, but at least they have something to make them think that they have a chance. So we have other controllers for sale. Sometimes we have first-party Nintendo ones, but a lot of times we have the third-party, Hyperkin, Circa, Retro Fighters. We have all kinds of third-party controllers, most of them really good quality. So basically any controller, any style, any color, whether it's new or used, as long as it's for Nintendo 64, it's going to be 25% off all week. You can use that online as well. Online code is N64SAVE25.
Why isn't it 64% off?
Why isn't it 64% off? That's a really dumb question. I'm sorry. That's a really bad question. So, moving on. No, because that'd be a lot off. That'd be like below cost off.
I'm joking.
Most of our stuff, like the markup is like, double or less. So like it's, you go over 50% off, we're paying you to take it, basically. We don't want to do that. Okay, the next sale coming up after that is August 5th through August 11th. And that week, we're doing a blowout on Game Gear games. So everybody loves Game Gear. Small, portable, color Sega system. Probably best played on a Retron 5 these days, since most old Game Gears are in pretty bad shape. It's pretty hard to find a good working one with a bright, clear picture. But anyway, the games are on sale for that. That's all used Game Gear games. Going to be 25% off also. The online code for that one is GG25. So that'll get you 25% off the Game Gear games. And it's a whole lot easier to remember than the other one, which was N64SAVE25. So I don't know who thought up that code, but GG25 is a lot better.
Fire that guy.
Fire that guy. So anyway, so that's the Game Gear sale. So those are the next 2 sales. So this week that you're watching the show, and then you know what's coming after that. Also, for the rest of July, only a few days left to get the Nintendo 64 trade-in bounty. So if you have a Nintendo 64 and it has the original wires and an original Nintendo brand controller, it's $100 cash. $100. So that's higher than our normal cash price for sure. Also, certain Nintendo 64 games are also higher values, but those vary by store. So you have to check with your store locally and see what what games they're paying extra for, and see if you have an extra copy. And if so, hook us up, and we'll hook you up. So that's all the deals for the rest of July, and then we're flat into August, guys. Can you believe that? Where did the summer go? It's nuts.
Good. Get rid of it.
It's gone. Hello, summer. Where'd you go?
Riddance.
Dance is good riddance.
Get some fall up in here.
Why good riddance? The heat?
Hot.
Too hot.
Too dang hot.
Do you know how hot it's been in Texas this year? Like, for anybody watching this show or listening to the podcast outside of Texas,
how hot is it?
Dance is how hot is it? I'll tell you how hot it is.
Crack an egg on the sidewalk.
Crack an egg on the sidewalk, and it's cooked in 2 seconds. No, it's really hot here, even for Texas. Like, we have hot summers, we have dry summers, but this is one of the hottest and driest. They show these calendars on the news where you see the whole calendar of like June and the whole calendar of like July and what the temperature was every day. And almost every one of those numbers is over 100. And then they put a little star next to the ones where it's like hottest ever. And there's little stars all over it too. So it's like, we're setting records every day, but it's, our forecast literally, even now for the next, several weeks, it's no rain. And it's like 103, 104, 105. It's not even as low as 100. It's above 100 every single day. It's nuts. So anyway, the temps are hot, and the game sales are hot too. At Game Over Video Games. So, but seriously, yeah. So July's almost over. It's hard to believe it's almost August. Also, events at Game Over stores. We do tournaments every month. Free retro tournaments at one store in each major city or area, and those are coming up again on Saturday, August 13th. So definitely check out those store Facebook pages for details on what the game is and stuff. The stores where they're going to happen is Bellevue, Washington, Arlington, Texas, South Austin, Selma near San Antonio, and the Houston store on 1960. So all 5 of those stores are doing free retro tournaments on Saturday, August 13th. So yeah, check out their local Facebook pages to see what the games are, what the sign-up time is, and come out and have fun. It's casual, low pressure. There's no professional players coming. There's no huge prize pot to win. It's just for fun. So come join us and have a good time. So let's see. In other news, Game Over related, that's really, I'm going to save, I have one thing, but I'm going to save that for the next one. The feature section, level 3, is going to be my full rundown on Classic Game Fest 2022. We had a blast last weekend, and, so yeah, I just want to save everything until that. So let's jump into level 3 now, and we will give you the full CGF 2022 rundown. And we're back with level 3, the feature section. So today we're going to do the full rundown on Classic Game Fest 2022, the biggest retro gaming event in Texas, one of the biggest in the country, and it was enormous. So it lived up to all the hype and more. I hope you were able to check it out, because if you had, you know what I'm talking about. It was insane in there. Pretty crazy. I have some notes here, and then I want to just I hope I remember to tell you everything about CGF, because it was just such a crazy but exciting and really successful weekend. It's hard to put it all into words. But so here's the rundown on the facts. So first of all, we hit 10,000 attendees for the first time ever. We were close last year. But this year, for sure, we hit over 10. We had, it roughly broke down to about like 6 on Saturday and about like 4 on Sunday. But yeah, over 10,000 total, which is crazy. I mean, most retro gaming shows, if you go to a lot of, shows kind of like CGF, they're typically pretty small, like city events, local events, or they're at a church or something. And they're, they're fun. And you can definitely find games and stuff there, but it's not, you're not going to see 10,000 people there. I mean, 10,000 people is like a small Comic-Con, really. Yeah, it's insane. So we're really thankful for that, and thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to all the staff, the Game Over employees, the volunteers, the family of the volunteers. Like,
welcome.
Dan, everybody that helped out. I mean, it literally takes a village to run an event like this, and so the retro gaming community of Texas has really come together behind this event, and we thank you all so much for helping put it together. And yeah, especially in this time where, like, COVID's it's still a thing. It's not as big a thing anymore, but it's still out there. And we still had some of our staff and some of our volunteers that we were counting on to be there that couldn't be there because of that, or because of other staffing situations because of that. Like either they had it or someone in their store had it, so then they had to cover the store instead of helping at CGF. And so, then we had volunteers that, the volunteers we had were great. But I think we signed up 30 volunteers this year, and I think about 20 of them showed up. So we had a little bit of loss there on volunteers. But I will say the people that came, the staff of CGF, and the volunteers for CGF are amazing. And so thank you guys very much for doing that. It took time away from your lives for a weekend, and it's not easy running a convention, whether you're staff or volunteer. Like, you work your butt off at conventions. Because you're always talking, you're always running around doing stuff, and it's just crazy. So so for anybody who's never done that before, you should do it one time at a convention and just see what it's like, because it's fun and you get a free pass and everything to go to the event. But man, it is hard work. So thank you to everyone who helped out there. So again, one of the biggest retro events in the country. 10,000 people, crazy. We had 135 total, like, vendors, guests, and artists there. So, booths, 400 actual tables, because obviously a lot of vendors take up multiple tables. Game Over had like 10 or 12 tables. And so, but yeah, 400 tables. So insane. 10 musicians, 10 special guests. Me and Dan were there.
I was there.
Did you see us?
Yes.
Not you.
I did see
I know
us.
we saw each other, but I'm asking the people watching the show. Did you guys see Dan or me? And if so, did you come up and say hi? I know a lot of people came up to me and said hi, but I don't know if they saw me or knew me from the show, or just knew me from, like, Game Over, or knew me from, Classic Game Fest years past. I don't know. But I met a lot of cool fans that I've seen multiple times in the past, and have attended multiple CGFs, and it was great.
I got recognized from this show.
Yeah?
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, so Dan says people called him out and saw him with his camera going around there.
Camera guy. Yeah.
Camera guy Dan, there he is.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was out there making footage that we're going to use for the trailer for CGF 2023. So Dan's going to be putting that together for us, and so if you saw Dan, that means you were close enough that you might have been featured in the footage for the trailer. So be sure and watch that and see if you can point yourself out in the video. But yeah, so we were there, running around, and I know I was running around. I was telling somebody on Saturday, I think I probably walked like 3 or 4 miles weekend, just because I walked across that hall back and forth and up and down those stairs. God, like a million freaking times. I mean, if you saw me, you saw probably the most tired, sleep-deprived, stress-filled face and expression and just body that you've ever seen me have, because that is literally my hardest weekend of the entire year. It's worse than Black Friday, really. It really puts me and my mind and my stress levels and my body to the test. So if you saw me, I'm sorry if I didn't say hello, or if I passed by and you're like, wow, he's looking kind of ragged this year. Yeah, he was. You're right. I look a little worse every year. I'm sorry. But it was a lot of fun. I wish, I stress and kind of dread, when it approaches so close beforehand, because it's just so much stress and time and effort that goes into it. And then during it, it's so crazy. And then at the end, I'm like, man, I wish I had done more. Like, I wish I'd been there longer and been able to talk to people more. And so it's this whole like roller coaster of emotions. It's really crazy. But let's see. So other things we saw or had at CGF. So we had retro gaming tournaments, of course, tons of those. Live video game music all weekend long. Costume contests. Free play arcades. Free play consoles. The classic iMac computers. Those are always really cool. This year, for the first time ever, we had tattoos. So yeah, if you ever wanted to get a tattoo at Classic Game Fest, and who hasn't? We've never had one in the past. In 15, years, we've never had a tattoo artist. And we had a group out there this year doing tattoos, and they were freaking booked all weekend long. They were doing tattoos all weekend. We had to increase their space, and they were booking them even before hours because they just ran out of slots available during the day. But yeah, so thank you to the tattoo artists for coming out, and thank you guys for getting tattoos from them, because we weren't sure how many people would do that, like at a convention, live, like just laying there on the table where everybody's just walking around watching you. And
I never saw.
but they did.
Yeah, I never saw them not full. There were people there. All
Yeah. No, Dan was saying he never saw them, not full, and it was the same for me. I mean, they had, and it wasn't just like one dude doing the tattoos. It was like they had, I think, 4 stations, and those suckers were full all weekend long. They were just doing tats. So if you got a tattoo at Classic Game Fest, I want you to put it on social media, tag, or like link to one of our social media pages, or at least hashtag, Classic Game Fest. And let us see your tats. Let us see what you got at CGF tattooed to your body permanently. So
anybody get the logo?
if it's in a safe place, we don't want to see anything objectionable.
CGF logo tattooed.
Yeah, well, I was joking at the beginning of the show. I need like a CGF logo, like right on the back, or like little stamp at the bottom back there. I don't know. I'm too old to get a tattoo. I think that window closed for me. But I don't know. But I think it's cool. I like them on other people. I think it's very cool. So that was neat for this year and new, something we haven't had before. Vendors and attendees came literally from all over the country. So for anybody that thinks that CGF is just an Austin thing, like most retro shows these days, it's just kind of a local thing, like a bunch of dudes get together and trade games. No, this is massive. People from all over Texas, which itself is huge, and people had to drive hours and hours from outside of Austin to get to CGF in Texas. But then beyond Texas, we had people from the West Coast, from the East Coast, from Chicago, from North Carolina, Louisiana, Oklahoma. Like I can think of almost half the states that we had somebody either attend or vend from. So it's truly becoming like a national phenomenon. CGF. It's really cool. But so that's really cool that it brings together not only the retro community of Austin or of Texas, but of the entire country has now flocked to Austin for CGF every summer in July. So it's really cool. Let's see. So I think that's all of kind of the rundown of the basics. Specific issues, like my job at CGF is normally, running around crazy with my little clipboard, trying to make sure, where's this guest? This panel's supposed to start, or where's this, this band, or who's out of, like ones in the register for game over or whatever. And I just, like I said, I've run back and forth across that hall all weekend long. It's crazy. But any big event, especially one that big, it's not without its issues. So I wanted to run down some of the issues we had. And I won't spend a lot of time dwelling on these, but I just, I want to tell you like some of the things that I was dealing with all weekend, which would make a good reality show on their own. Dan and I were talking about this earlier, that next year we need to just have like a camera follow me around and just record all the crazy stuff that happens, because it's pretty nuts. Let's see. The first issue, T-shirts. So last year at CGF, our biggest one ever, we had, I think, 500 T-shirts. That sounds like a lot, right? So this year, I ordered 900 T-shirts, like almost double. So I was thinking, we're not gonna run out of anything this year. So we ran out of T-shirts. We've got a few of the colors left of the regular shirts, but mostly in the small sizes. What we ran out of is all the large sizes. So anything like from really even from large, but especially from extra large on up. So the XLs, the 2XLs, 3XLs, and 4XLs, anything like that sold out fast. Faster than we had even possibly imagined it could sell out. So to anybody that didn't get the size they wanted on the larger size CGF shirts, we're really sorry. We're actually going to work out something soon, I hope, where we can sell some online, like on the CGF website or something, and get like a limited number kind of reprinted, just so we can satisfy all the people that wanted them and couldn't get them at the show. But that was kind of a nightmare, one of those things that, who knows? You double your supply and still run out. I mean, who would have thought? But anyway, so that was unfortunate, and so we had to apologize to a lot of people for that. Long lines, I can't really fix that one. I mean, more people come every year, so that the lines are going to be longer every year. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but like, I don't know. I mean, one guy was literally arguing with me because he had the VIP pass and he had to wait in line to pick it up, and he's like, "What's the point of getting the VIP if I got to wait in the line?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're not the only VIP. Like, we didn't sell just one ticket, and you're like Charlie, and you're like, here's your golden ticket, buddy. Go right to the front." It was like we had 3,000 VIPs. So when we opened those doors just for the early birds on Saturday, it wasn't just a little handful of select society that went in there. That was 3,000 people that went in just between 9 and 10 o'clock. So it was nuts.
I saw that guy.
but I had to apologize to him, and then as I walked away, I heard him, very loudly behind me being like, "What bad management at this event?" I'm like, "Yep, that's me, bad management. Thank you." Anyway, so there was that. Let's see, food. Food is always an issue at this event. Why is food always an issue? Because I can't control the food. I can do my best to minimize the issues that I can control, and I have argued with this facility a lot about food, but I can't really pick the vendors for food. I can't allow outside vendors there for food and drink. I can try and convince them on what they have available in-house to bring, and I have been trying for years, and I keep kind of repeating, I keep banging this drum about we need more food, like more drinks, more options, more stuff. And it's all kind of pricey. I can't really set the prices, but we try and have the lower cost stuff. So it's more, more reasonable. But, like sandwiches and hot dogs and stuff, like I understand that's not super, big or filling or whatever, but they didn't sell out, I don't think, of that kind of food. But it was close. They sold a whole lot of it. But this year we did have food trucks for the first time, which is great.
I noticed that.
So we had 2 food trucks outside. I hope you were able to check them out. One was a barbecue truck, and one was a Kona Ice, like snow cones. The barbecue was Bohemian Barbecue. So shout out to those guys, Bohemian Barbecue and Kona Ice. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming. Please come next year, too. But getting food truck, it's part of the whole, like, there's concession contracts with events where it's like, you have to kind of use either their people in-house or even like food trucks and stuff. You have to go through their specific ones that they have deals with. And, so they get money on the back end from these guys, and, it's a whole thing. But anyway, they came and they did great. I think they did so well that the barbecue guy even ran out of meat at some point on Saturday. I didn't hear from the snow cone people, but I think they were still okay because they could probably keep making more ice all day long. Yeah, but you can't just keep making barbecue. Once you start in the morning, that's all the barbecue you're gonna have because it just it takes that long to make it. But anyway, we're very thankful to have them, and so overall, we had more food options than in the past, but I would like to have more, and I will keep fighting for more, and so hopefully every year we'll have a little bit more. And the food truck thing went really well, so even though it was 103 outside, it was in the shade, it was under one of those big fans, and it wasn't too bad, and you could even just go get your food and come right back in and eat it. So we'll try and do more of that next year, to have more food options, but that was another one of the complaints. Let's see, weapons was a constant complaint.
Oh man.
It's hard to win at a convention with weapons, right?
No convention's gonna let you in with a giant sword.
Well, but some do, and so we try to do no weapons at CGF, and that's our rule. It's been our rule actually for years. But then there's people that are in the costume contest or like with the Star Wars fan group and the Ghostbusters and stuff, and they all have kind of things that look like weapons, even though they're fake.
I'm shocked that a convention would let you walk in with a fake gun or a sword that made of metal.
Yeah, well, not made of metal, but like the foam stuff and the really fakey looking stuff, we did let in, but it's this year more than ever it was a problem, and so just because of what's happening in the world, and it's been a heightened level of stress, let's say, among our whole nation under anything weapons related lately. So just the thought of someone having a gun, whether it's fake or not, part of a costume or not, the kid spent 10 hours making it or not, like, if it's a weapon, it really shouldn't be in there because it just gives some people the creeps nowadays. Like, you just can't do it. And I don't know how Comic-Cons going forward are going to get over this. We have definitely less weapons at CGF, fake weapons, than a Comic-Con or Anime Con or anything like that. But they're there, and it's always kind of a battle because, we have to be the bad guys and tell people, like, you can't bring in that, bazooka or whatever. I know it's fake, but, like, you can't really bring it in. And then still, some people get them in, because, like, maybe a volunteer is watching the door at that time and they just miss them, walking in or something, or they come in the side door with the vendors, or I don't know. But they always kind of sneak in, and then we get in trouble for them. And so it's an ongoing battle. So please, just in future, please just leave your weapons at home. Fake, certainly real ones, leave at home. We don't want those for sure. But even the fake ones, try and find a costume that doesn't involve weapons, or it's not integral to your costume, so we don't have to have that whole issue. Pets. We also have a no pet policy. I mean, you put 10,000 people in a room and lots of loud live video game music and tournaments and just crazy crowd noise. It's not the place for your pet. It's really not.
It's not a dog.
I know. but I'm saying it's not the place for it.
Oh, okay.
Technically, we didn't allow pets, but again, some people kind of snuck theirs in, and we did allow people to bring in backpacks, so they could like sell and trade with the vendors. And some people like literally had dogs in backpacks, and we didn't know until they got them in, and then they had to go to the bathroom, so they got them out, and we're like, where'd the dog come from? Anyway, so please, no weapons, no pets. Just not a good idea. Backpacks, we allowed the one backpack so you could bring in stuff to sell, like Game Over was buying stuff, and a lot of the other vendor booths were buying stuff.
Yeah.
But we don't want people to bring in big old tubs, big plastic tubs, big rolling luggage and things, because we don't want people just to buy one ticket or wristband and then just sit in the hallway selling their stuff without buying a vendor booth, right? Because, doing that, I'm sorry, that's what you get for riding on his shoulders, you big boy. All right. But we sell vendor booths, right? So like if you're just bringing all your crap in a suitcase and you're just going to sit in the hallway and try and sell it, we're going to throw you out because you need to buy a booth. Don't be a cheapskate. Don't try and be like shady on the side selling your stuff. If you want a booth, I'm happy to sell you a booth, but just buy one like a normal person, and do it legit and then come into the vendor hall. But if you're doing it out in the hallway or on the side or something, yeah, we're going to throw you out and we won't give you a refund and we're not going to let you come back in. Sorry. That's not what it's all about. So let's see. Costume contest. So I want to talk about the costume contest in a good way. But the one bad thing about the costume contest that was on my issue list was if you went to the costume contest, it was huge, right? So every year it's one of our biggest draws. Like the panel stage upstairs, it was packed. I mean, there were people in the hallway, on the aisles, the chairs. There was standing room only in the back. There was probably 500 people in that room. It was nuts. And we do kids and we do adults, and the kids are so cute. I love all you kids that come in costumes. I wish we could do 2 hours of just kids in costumes. Like that is my favorite part of the whole thing. Cuphead was awesome, and the Marios. And I love the Mario that like he got his mom up there with a brick under each arm, and he was like, and like got the bricks out of mom's arms, and I thought that was hilarious personally. But yeah, so I love the kids. I mean, I want to do a whole like day or a whole show or a whole convention or something of just kids in costumes because that's just freaking awesome. But so we're doing the kids costume contest, and we get kind of near the end, and then I'm standing on the side. I'm kind of, if you see me, like, I'm kind of like running back and forth and just doing whatever. I was helping the kids off the stage, and then just kind of waiting for them to do the judges to calculate and everything. But I realized that I didn't have their prizes. Like we had, like I was going to give them T-shirts, and I got medals, like CGF medals for everybody. And I was like, oh crap, I don't have this stuff. And they're already like judging. So it's like minutes away from announcing winners. And I'm like I don't have any stuff to give these kids. And so I told the host, Emmanuel, who was awesome. Thank you, Emmanuel. You were every year, you're pre-booked like for the next 10 years for CGF. Like just don't even think about it. He's awesome. But I was like, hey man, can you give me like 5 minutes? Like I don't have the prizes. And so he was like kind of talking to the crowd and everything and like just kind of burning some time. And I booked it. Like if you saw me, I was like a yellow flash that just went down the hallway, down the stairs. I had to go across the entire convention floor, halls 1 and 2, out the door to my little office, which was in the very front, get the stuff, the medals, run all the way back across through the hall. And of course, every time I go through the hall, everybody's like, oh, David, I need for my booth. I'm like, no. I'm like, leave me alone. I got kids waiting on me. And then I run through, up the stairs, down the hall again, and got up there just as they were giving out the awards. They had the kids on stage, and I got up there. So if you saw me and then I disappeared, and then you saw me again, like kind of huffing and puffing, like, here's the prizes. That was a very stressful 5 minutes right there. But anyway, so that was a kind of a bad thing, but also the good news. Just I love that contest. Like I would do it anytime for the kids. That is so awesome. Another issue we had was the walkie-talkies. Like we always have walkie-talkies that our crew use there to kind of like talk to each other. Like, hey, some guy needs a, I don't know, like there's a spill by this booth or whatever. And then so we, can alert someone to come clean it up. So we try and have walkie-talkies to kind of help us as the staff communicate. And apparently there were some attendees that had walkie-talkies also, like to keep track of their kids. So like every once in a while I'd hear on the walkie-talkie like, Dad, I really like the Super Nintendo over here today. Or like, hey, I'm over here by this booth and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, who is this? So, I mean, we have different channels, but like all of us were on the same channel. So we just should have changed channels for the walkie-talkies, but we didn't. We ended up just turning them off and we used cell phones. We just called each other after that. But it was funny for a while there because I kept one time I was like, who is this? Like, who is talking to me here? Anyway, so that was kind of funny and kind of weird. Let's see. And then I guess one of the biggest takeaways, negative takeaways for me was there's just never enough time. I mean, like I said, I work and stress so hard planning it and then putting it on and executing it and doing my, running back and forth across the hall to do little tasks and help vendors out and get everybody taken care of and make sure everyone else is having a good time all weekend long. That's all I do is care for other people at CGF. But then by the end of CGF, I'm like, man, I didn't get a chance to really like shop or talk to people or, more than just hey, you okay? You need a drink or something? You okay? Okay, bye. See ya. Thanks for coming. But so I don't know. It's something that eventually, hopefully, CGF will get big enough and to the point where like we have, larger staff. And, and I won't have to literally like run and get prizes myself, that I'll have a runner or somebody to go get prizes for me and stuff like that. But we were a little understaffed this year. So I think it went off overall very smoothly, but there were definitely some hiccups like I mentioned here that a lot of which staff related, just shortage of staff. Our staff that was there was fantastic again. So no knock on them. They were all doing, like 2 or 3 jobs apiece. But we just need more of us. I mean, it's just 10,000 people's a lot. There's a lot of people, a lot of stuff to do. So hopefully next year I'll have a little more time to talk to people. I was telling Dan earlier that like it'd be fun to have a camera just follow me around for the day, because you want to see some crazy stuff. Just follow me and listen to the questions and complaints and just random conversations that I have with fans and attendees. It's pretty fun. But anyway, so more about the good stuff. So I loved seeing everybody there. I mean, it's so nice. Last year we weren't really, sure what to expect, right? That was our first one coming back from COVID, and we were pleasantly surprised, actually shocked, that it was our biggest attendance ever. And so that was awesome. But I know everybody still was a little timid. There were some masks and the aisles were wider and everything. So this year it was a little closer together, and obviously more people there. Very little masks. I don't think any masks there. So hopefully everybody's okay. I mean, I'm still okay like a week later. So and if anybody was going to get anything, it probably would have been me, because I talked to and touched everybody. I mean, okay, that sounded wrong. I talked to everybody. I didn't touch everybody. But anyway, it was a great event. It really was. And I wish there were more of them. I wish there were more days. I wish there was more time. But it was so great having everybody there. So all the vendors that are in basically the same business as Game Over, all of our competitors, like I really appreciate you guys coming out. We had some amazing artists and I mean, all the artwork and not just artwork like in the traditional sense, like paintings and stuff, but like there's some really cool, unique gifts, keychains, jewelry, hats, soaps. I mean, people could literally like shop for all their Christmas presents for everybody in their life at CGF and not get not get anybody games, but get people just other cool gaming related, nerdy related stuff. So remember that next year, because it's a good place to get some early Christmas shopping in. But it's just so fun. It's such a good community, and I love how everybody is just so overall. I mean, some people are get stressed out in situations like that. So I get sometimes people get frustrated, but overall, like 99% of the people, so nice, so friendly, so welcoming. I had a lot of people, I don't know if they recognize me from this show or these type of videos, or just know me as from the years past, like the guy that runs CGF. But like, I mean, I got stopped to like, take selfies with people a lot, take pictures and shake hands. And, I had a lot of attendees like just stop, just talk to me, just to say like, thanks for doing this. And like I think, on one level, just appreciate like that it doesn't come together easy, and it's never smooth, and it's a labor of love, and it's something that that I put a whole lot into CGF to make it successful, and yeah, so it was really nice, because as you probably know, as an adult, you don't get a lot of people in life that tell you good things, tell you nice things. You tell kids nice things, but with adults, when they when they, share their views with other adults, it's normally negative views. You don't often just stop somebody and say, hey man, I just want to tell you, like, you did a great job. And I felt like I got a lot of that at CGF. And so, for that, I am really thankful, because that's really sweet and very, very needed for me these days, because it's just, running Game Over and CGF, and trying to have a personal life of some kind is pretty stressful. And actually, I'm going to talk about that in the boss battle today, but it's rough. And so everybody that stopped to just shake my hand, give me a hug, and say hi or thank you, like, I really appreciate all of you. I love you guys, so thank you for that. But yeah, so that's I think about it. Did I leave anything out, Dan, on the CGF kind of rundown? What else did I leave out? I mean, there were tons of games for sale. Like,
it was bigger this year than it ever has been.
Bigger than ever. I mean, and of the booths, like, there were more booths dedicated to games than ever in the past. Like, every single booth almost had games.
There were more arcade cabinets.
There were more arcades. Yeah, we had 50 booked. I think we were a little shy of that when it actually showed up. I think we ended up with like 45-ish.
But
it was the biggest arcade ever.
You could always find a game that was open to play. Like,
yes.
Last year it was pretty much like packed.
Yeah, last year the arcade was a tiny little room upstairs, and nobody liked it. That was one of our universal complaints last year. And so this year it was the opposite. The arcades were downstairs, main floor. There were like twice as many, and they were spread out twice as much too. Yeah. So it never felt like all these people are breathing on me while I'm playing. No, it's like you had a big open area to play, and it was still pretty full, really. Like, I thought when they set it up, I was like, that seems like a lot of space between all the arcades. But then once once 6,000 people were in there on Saturday, it's like, oh, that's about the right amount of space that we need. So anyway, yeah, the arcade was really cool. Tournaments. I mean, thanks so much to everyone running the tournaments. We had a lot of, outside groups kind of run tournaments there. And so they all did great. And there was a great crowd for all of them. The bands, the music is one of my favorite parts of CGF. It's literally, most of what we had in the beginning was just bands playing video game music. And I love that. I didn't get to hear a lot of it myself, but I always loved that part of the show.
Shout out Creative Mindframe for doing like 4 different things.
I know, yeah. Creative Mindframe, Emmanuel, you were so awesome. So thank you again for doing pretty much everything. He's like my jack of all trades.
Yeah.
So, and I tell the people on the stage, I'm like, if you ever like a band doesn't show, like a panel's going crazy or, something, going wrong, I'm like, just give that guy a microphone and just put him on stage. Yeah. He'll do something that'll be funny and entertaining, and it'll, get the crowd back into it. And so yeah, he's like a master entertainer. He needs to like, run some kind of, some kind of event or something someday, because he's just a master MC of crowd, control and engagement. It's just amazing to watch and hear him. But yeah, so everybody, I mean, there's really just too many to thank, personally. But overall, I guess the biggest thanks is just to the Game Over, staff and crew, because not only did they handle our Game Over booth where we're obviously they're trying to sell stuff just like everybody else, but a lot of the Game Over guys that were there volunteering, with the volunteers just to run CGF. And they were, taking your ticket sales. They were selling you the CGF T-shirts, helping run like the stage and the events, and watching people buy the like free play areas and arcades, so nobody loaded their pockets with games and ran off or whatever. And just so much help. I mean, it really does take a village. It takes so much more than just me to run it. And so I'm forever thankful to all of you guys for helping out. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's crazy. Like I said, you stress so much going into it, and then when it's over, you're like, man, that seems so fast. It just flies by. So now is the part where we talk about next year. So let's shift into next year's focus. So Classic Game Fest 2023. Woo! It's never too early to start talking about that. So Dan is starting on the video right now.
I'm going to book my kissing booth right now.
Dan's going to have a kissing booth. Okay, so we'll have that next year. So we'll get the video trailer out soon in the next couple weeks. Hopefully we'll premiere it on the show. That would be fun. Oh, can we do that on the show? Like world premiere?
That'd be neat.
Yeah, so we can do that. The dates. So if you're booking your summer vacations for next year and you don't want to book over CGF weekend, right? Because nobody wants to do that. Or if you run a convention yourself and you don't want to overlap with CGF, because we'll basically take all your crowd from you, whether we intend to or not. The weekend to black out on your calendars next summer is July 22nd and 23rd. So CGF 2023, it's basically the same weekend every year. It's like late July. It's either the last or second to last weekend of July, like every year. But that's what we've got booked. So the tickets and vendor booths are not on sale yet. The website's even not updated yet. I still have to go through there and change all the, all the dates and all the banners and everything. And honestly, there's a lot to do to kind of like, switch over from year to year with CGF. So it'll take us several weeks to do that. But hopefully by the time we get to like September and October, vendor booths will be on sale, tickets go on sale, and we'll start the machine going again to start cranking up for CGF 2023. So stay tuned on social media for that. Right now, like I said earlier with the tattoos, really anybody that has pictures, video, you want to show off your cool stuff that you got from CGF, tattoos, merch, games, rare stuff you've been looking for like forever. Please, when you post it to social media, tag us. Tag hashtag Classic Game Fest, like spell it all out. Or tag our social media, like we have, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and stuff, and like tag us on there, because that way we can see your stuff too, and we want to see it, and we'll like retweet or reshare or whatever. What social media people do? They,
Resplash.
What do they call it?
Splashback.
Resplash. That's not a word.
Snap grab.
Snap grab? No.
Snick snack.
But whatever they do, they mix, match, flippity flack, woody whack, and then they send it back.
Twick twerk.
Yes. So they'll do that thing, and our social media people will know what to do. I don't know what to do, but they'll know what to do.
Share it.
Yeah, share it. That's the word, share. So you share with us, we'll share with the world. So that's when next year's is. And the other thing that I ask everyone to do right now, so whether you were a staff member, a volunteer, a vendor, or one of our 10,000 new best friends who attended, all of you, there are surveys available online. So if you go to the Classic Game Fest social media pages, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that, there's links to it. It's a weird link, so I can't really say it over it's like letters and numbers and stuff. But just look on our social media, and we're going to send emails out with links to it too, so that you can click the link. If you're an attendee, go to that one. If you're a vendor or a guest, go to that one. And then it'll ask you questions about like, did you like the show? How was it compared to last year? What would you like to see in the future? Stuff like that. And let us know. Hopefully not overly harsh, but definitely let us know your honest feedback, and that's how we improve every year. I like to say that I'm not perfect. The things I do, like Game Over and Classic Game Fest, are not perfect. We always strive to be better, but that's really all I can do. As a person or a business owner or as an event or whatever. Like I do listen to feedback. I do try and improve, and that's what makes us all human and makes us get through life and
Could you be a little
improve.
less good looking, because you're kind of stealing the thunder?
I'm too good looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the case.
All right.
I am not that.
Stay in denial then.
No, I think Dan and I just we love each other on a level that goes way back. But luckily, I guess most other people don't find me as attractive as Dan does, and so I'm able to keep my love life pretty mellow. But anyway. So thank you all for coming. Please do a survey, and please sign up to be a vendor or attendee or both at next year's Classic Game Fest. So we really appreciate everyone's support. I hope you guys had fun. And in the comments this week, if you're watching the show on YouTube, or if you see the post like on Facebook or something, add comments about CGF and just say, hey, yeah, I was there, I saw you, or hey, I got this or that at the show, and post pictures and stuff. So we'd love to hear your feedback about CGF. So definitely post that on the comments. But thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for being flexible. There's always going to be. I always say like doing this. It's like you're a firefighter, right? You're just putting out fires all weekend. There's a spill. There's somebody didn't show. You're filling this, or people are sneaking in the side door, and you got to go relock the doors. Whatever it is, it's a nonstop, just like mini emergency after emergency that you're kind of putting out. And so thank you to everyone involved for being flexible and adaptable to that. It's a big crowd run by a small staff, over half of which are volunteers. And so you have to kind of be, forgiving, in a way of sometimes the lines and running out of stuff and things like, we obviously don't want those things either, but we do our best to mitigate it as best we can. And we hope that you and your family came to CGF and had a great time. So thank you for your support. And we definitely hope to see you next year. So now let's go into the boss battle. We're going to do level 4, and the boss battle this week is, how does a person juggle running 12 game stores and a major event in the same week. So we're going to do that now with the boss battle. And we're back with level 4, the boss battle. So my boss battle these past 2 weeks between the last show and now has been running Classic Game Fest, which in itself is a year-round operation now. I normally start selling the tickets and vendor booths in around September, and obviously the event's in July, and then in August I spend changing out all the stuff on the website so it's updated with the new dates and new banners and have new posters and stuff made, and so it's literally year round that I do stuff for this. And it's not my main job. That's just what I do for fun on the side. That's my side hustle. But my main job is always running Game Over video games. And that in itself is definitely a year-round job. 12 locations spread across 2 states. We've got almost 60 employees now, and it's always something there. Lately, staffing is the big thing. Every business out there pretty much is understaffed, and we're constantly trying to hire people and train people and keep good people in the company. And it's tough because there's not as many people. Like, the workforce is full. Like, the number of people that want to work in this country pretty much already have jobs. And so unemployment is like 3% or something, which means almost everybody that wants a job has one. So you're basically fighting when you need to hire, for like trying to take someone from a job they already have. And that's tougher. So anyway, it's, many battles that you face, running a business, and running 2 is really hard. But so I run Game Over year round. Classic Game Fest, which used to start as like, when it was small, it was just a summer thing. Like, it was only really a lot of work in July. And then it was kind of like a summer thing. And then it was like maybe a 6-month thing. And now, like I said, it's a year-round thing too. So I have both these jobs that I juggle. And sometimes, I definitely feel like I don't do, one or the other or both very well. And so, it's definitely tough to manage them. But July especially is the hardest. I've had some rough personal situations lately, these past couple of months too, that I've had to deal with, and that's never fun. I don't want to go into the details on it. Sorry, but it's been rough in my personal life lately, and with Game Over, it's kind of always rough, right? Like that, I put out fires year round with that. Like every day, every week, there's something going on. We're trying to fix or change or remodel a store, restaff a store, whatever. It never stops. And then CGF on top of that, when it gets to be July, it's just crazy. It's tough to juggle. It's really tough to juggle, but it's more tough to juggle. To juggle two jobs, and I know a lot of people do that these days. Have multiple jobs, and it's hard. So I can relate. I definitely don't have nearly enough hours in the day or days in the week. So my tips to cope with such things: be patient, be flexible, be as prepared as possible. It helps that I'm very like OCD. I make notes. I try and follow notes. I leave Post-its all over my desk at work. I try my best to remember things and do things on a schedule and in an organized way. I have a certain way we pack and unload the trucks going to CGF. How we set up the booth. At Game Over, I have detailed records on like which shipments go to which stores and when I visit certain stores and things like that. And it's I try and be a very good planner. So to do any business, especially 2 or multiple jobs, you have to be a very good planner, very good organized person, and be flexible, because sometimes one of your jobs may need you more. Maybe a bunch of the staff gets COVID, and so they're all out for a week, and you got to work extra hours. Maybe like with like CGF, like it definitely spikes in July. Like they need me for CGF extra work-wise in July. So my Game Over work kind of suffers, because I'm pulling myself. Caught you that time. But I'm pulling myself more the other way, for CGF, and so a lot of the Game Over stuff kind of ends up sitting there on my desk for a while. So you got to be flexible, work hard. try and have businesses, if you work multiple jobs, that kind of go together. Like in the same field, like maybe 2 retail jobs that you're juggling, or like in my case, running 2 businesses that are kind of gaming related, and I can, use some of the Game Over staff to run CGF, and that definitely helps. And we use a lot of our, fixtures and things that we have at Game Over, or in storage or whatever for Game Over, that we use them for CGF, because it's just like we share resources, pool resources, and that definitely helps. I also get a lot of help from family and volunteers. So I'm always grateful for that. I appreciate everybody for supporting, like just customers supporting Game Over and Classic Game Fest, because without you guys buying stuff from Game Over stores, or coming to CGF and buying that ticket to get in, or maybe a T-shirt while you're there if you can find your size, that's where the money comes from to do those things. So we need people buying stuff at Game Over to keep Game Over going. We need people buying tickets and merch at CGF to keep CGF going. That's how it works. So I always appreciate people for doing that. And then family and volunteers. A lot of people that volunteer at stuff like CGF, I mean, they get a ticket, and a T-shirt and stuff. So they get something, but it's a lot of hard work. Like I said earlier, just to get a T-shirt, it's a lot and to get into the convention. So we appreciate them so much, and they're so great to do that for us at CGF every year. Some of the volunteers have come back multiple years. Like, we know them, by name every year they come back, and it's great. And then family, like my personal family, helps out every year with CGF. You probably saw my wife running around with me at CGF. Like me. We didn't see each other hardly at all there, but she was in a yellow shirt and running around crazy, just like me, all weekend long. My son helped out, so thanks so much to Evan. It would be impossible to do, without the support of your family and friends. So thank you guys for that. And the same with Game Over. I mean, it's, running a business is hard. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times when you're really stressed out, and you need that support of family and friends and staff and even volunteers, just anybody to help you, give you a pat on the back every once in a while when you're really down and really struggling. And I can tell you, like, for me, if I looked cool and calm and collected at CGF last weekend, you didn't see me up close. But I can tell you that week leading up to CGF, I mean, I didn't sleep much. I was waking up like every hour, for the past 2 or 3 days before CGF, because it's just like the stress and the anticipation. And it's crazy. Like, it's really like, I have these sick, like business dreams, when I get really stressed out. It's the same for like Black Friday at Game Over. It's a really stressful time. So like, I would wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and be like, oh, you know what I should do with like the vendor bags? Like, at CGF, like I should have the line go this way. And that would help solve that problem. And then I'd kind of drift back off and then be like, oh, who we should try and get next year is, and like every idea, it just comes to me at these random times, and I'd like wake up and have thoughts. Like I can't turn it off in my head sometimes. And that's really tough. And it's the same for Game Over. I mean, I sometimes will just, have stressful times, and either, we're short on staff, or we're doing something major in a store, and, and it's just, it literally keeps me up at night. And so my advice is, if you're especially trying to work 2 jobs, you got to get sleep. The 2 things that I'm the worst at, like my worst traits, are I don't eat during the day very much, and I don't sleep at night often very well, or at least soundly. And that gets worse as I get busier and more stressed out. So those are the 2 things that I constantly need people. I mean, it sounds weird because I'm like, grown man and everything, but like, I really need someone to tell me sometimes, like, go eat, please, go eat, or get a drink, or go to bed, because I know they need to be done. I know it's important, but in the moment, it's just, I just can't do it. My mind and my body are like always working, like the wheels are always turning up there. And so it's really hard for me to turn it off sometimes. And sometimes I need someone to tell me, like, turn it off. So thank you for the people that do that in my life, and make sure that I eat occasionally and sleep occasionally. And let's see, what else? Smile. Probably my best advice for anybody who's doing any job ever, and just in life, even if you don't have a job. Always try and smile. I joke around with Dan when we're doing the show. Even at CGF when I'm running around crazy, I'm trying to, I smile. I I enjoy like, seeing friends, seeing attendees have a good time. I give people hugs and handshakes, and I try and enjoy the moments and be silly and be goofy and just smile and have fun, because life gets really crazy. If you work more than one job, it gets really, really crazy. And since that's what I do, too, it's, I know how you guys feel that work multiple jobs. It's really tough. And one of the best ways to get through it and get through all that stress is just trying to lighten up at times, at least, because it's really going to be stressful at times, but you really have to find that time to joke around, to smile, to do something silly. We had all those bean bags at CGF. At one point during CGF, I always try to like run and just jump in the big pile of bean bags. I love that. And it's just that one moment that might be one of the only stress-free moments of the whole weekend for me, and I love that. So try and find those moments in your life where you can just let it all go and just enjoy yourself and have fun. So that's it on the boss battle. So I just wanted to kind of run through what it's like running two businesses for me. It's not easy. I hope I make it look easy, because if I do, then I'm really a good actor, because it's not easier. Yeah, Dan says I look good doing it, but just so any of you sitting there, watching me being like, wow, how does he do all this stuff? And if you think I'm really impressive doing it or whatever, it's not that impressive. Like I'm not doing that good of a job at them. I really try hard, but like, behind the scenes, there's a lot of fails there. There's shortcomings in CGF. There's shortcomings at Game Over, and I'm constantly trying to work and smooth those things out and improve those things. But nothing is as perfect as it may appear on the outside, and that helps too, to know that going into a situation, or talking to somebody that anybody that looks like they're all put together and like they've got their life straight, and you're like, man, why can't I be like that guy? That guy's not perfect. He's not perfect either, or she, or they. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So always trying to understand that everybody's got a lot of stuff going on in the background of their lives, and I am no different on that. I'm definitely not perfect, but I do the best I can to deal with all the jobs and the stress and everything that I take on myself. So that's my double life as running two companies. So now let's go on to the bonus level and fan feedback. Wrap up the show and talk about some of the fan comments. Most of these are from a few weeks ago, so we don't have any recent ones because everybody's been at CGF last week. But yeah, let's do the bonus level now and fan feedback. And we're back with the bonus level fan feedback. So let's go through some of the comments we've had in the past few weeks. Let's see. Keep up the great work. Stay hydrated. That's always a good comment. Stay hydrated, especially at CGF. When you go to a convention, make sure you drink a lot. Drink a lot and go to the bathroom. Even though it's sometimes a line and you don't want to maybe go to the bathroom at a big crowded place like that. You have to. You got to keep the fluids going, in and out. Keep the fluids going. Let's see. Ricky says, entertaining as always. He liked the guessing game on the cartridges that we did, so we'll definitely have to do that again, or something like that. Maybe we got to do controllers or consoles next. So Dan, we'll keep like a mental note. We need to do that like on one of the next shows. All right. Sorry to hear about the American Airlines story. It's sad when businesses don't provide the service they paid for. It really sucks, but it's not even so much just American Airlines. It's like all the airlines. It's like they're all, gas prices are too high. There's too many people that want to fly now all of a sudden, and too few people to fly them and service their planes and their luggage and everything. And so I get it. It's a big cluster of everything coming together at once. So I don't want to put it all on American Airlines, but it's tough to fly now. I mean, I definitely recommend if you fly, try and book early in the day flights. And that way, if it gets delayed or canceled or whatever, you're still getting there that day, and you don't have to even worry about it's the last flight of the day. Now, crap, I've got to get a hotel or whatever, and rental car. So thank you for your sympathy on that. It is really rough, and luckily with CGF, I haven't had to travel much lately. But in August, I'll be making several more trips. So hopefully they'll go smoothly. Let's see what else. Exclusive CGF content to share. So somebody was wanting am I going to have anything exclusive to share? Which I wish I did. Dan and I talked about meeting up at CGF and trying to do some quickie interviews with people and stuff that we could put on the show. There was no time. No time. I got so few I didn't even get that many pictures of CGF. I just got a handful in my cell phone here because I was literally just running around crazy all weekend. It was nuts. So So hopefully next year there'll be a little more time for me to do stuff and enjoy things there. Or I'll just have Dan just literally walk around with me, recording me.
That's what we're probably gonna do.
Doing stuff, and that way.
The life of David and CGF.
Yeah, CGF Day 1 with David would be a freaking amazing documentary. But and you'll get to meet people. You'll just have little short snippets of me talking to them throughout the day. But yeah, we should try that next time. But I'm sorry, no exclusive content. Maybe throughout the year, because now that I have a lot of friends from CGF, I can get some of the bands and some of the special guests and stuff to do either I don't know, maybe in person, but also probably more likely like a Zoom meeting or interview or Skype or something, and do some stuff like that, some interviews, because that would be cool to see. And I should have done it. I wanted to do it, but just ran out of time. Not enough time. Let's see. It'd be cool to see setup, takedown, that kind of stuff of the booth and the con and everything. Yeah, I think to my social media, I took a picture of the hall when it was empty or when they were just starting to set up. And then I took a picture when it was halfway, and I took a picture when it was fully set up and open and packed with people. And I only got to take a picture of those 3 times on in that 24 hours. It would be nice to have like a time-lapse camera or something up high and just showing it from big empty room, and then just everybody's booths as they go up. That would be awesome to see, but I don't know, maybe next year. I wish I did have something like that to show you, but I sadly don't. Let's see. How many wristbands? Well, we talked about the attendance was already over 10,000, so it's a lot of wristbands. We always, kind of run out of the wristbands too, so we have to kind of, use some other ones at the end there once we get low on a certain kind, and we kind of, switch them out. But yeah, we cleared out almost every single wristband, new and old, that I had at CGF. So we're going to have to get more wristbands for sure next year. Let's see. Larry comments. I got to see you. I got to see Larry at CGF briefly a couple times. I think about 3. Yeah, I think 3 times total.
You got around that day.
Yeah, but I never got to talk to him for more than 30 seconds. And every time I'm like, "Hey, Larry, gotta go, Larry." Sorry, Larry. But yeah, it's just the way it is for me at CGF. If you can get a handshake or a hug or a picture with me, that's probably the most people will see me. I don't see my wife and kids that much CGF weekend. It's just that crazy of a weekend for me. So sorry I didn't see you much or spend much time with you, much quality time. But I hope you had fun. Let's see. He was so pumped for CGF too. He goes every year, and I love Larry. So hopefully you and Miss V had a great time that weekend. He said he was going to grab me if he saw me at the show, and he did, and he was gentle. So thank you. For being gentle. And that's it. So yes, he loves his dudes. So Dan, he loves us. Did you see Larry?
We're the dude. Oh yeah, I saw him.
You saw him? Okay, cool. So hopefully you got to spend a little more time with him than I did, because I didn't really spend much time with him. Sorry.
We high-fived.
High five? Yeah, that's good. I did a lot of high fives and a lot of just handshakes and stuff. And I feel like sometimes at CGF it's funny. I feel like I'm running for office. I'm like, "Oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, who are you going to vote for this fall?" No, but I'm not in politics.
Kissing babies.
Yeah, shaking hands, kissing babies, man. But yeah, I like doing that. I just don't like the politics part of politics. But anyway, but it was a fun weekend, and that's really all the fan feedback I've got. So I think it's been kind of quiet these past couple of weeks, just because CGF, everybody's wrapped up in it, and we didn't even do a show last week, so there's not really any feedback from that non-show to go over. So anyway, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you again for coming out to CGF to support. And I hope you came and had a great time. I hope you got all the stuff that you wanted. Either the CGF t-shirts you wanted, bought stuff from our Game Over booth, or just bought it from any of our 130 other vendors. I mean, there were so many good vendors there, and lots of great stuff, and different at every booth. So you really, and we spread them out throughout the hall on purpose. So you really had to go to every single booth in that entire building to see everything, and it was amazing how much video game product was in that hall. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, I think we talked about this before the show, and I don't think I said it on the show. One last CGF related thing. So with CGF, they have an ATM machine in the hallway. right? Like outside in the building, like that's always there, and it always runs out of money because it's just the only ATM there. And so we have this other company that brings in ATMs inside the hall, and so they brought 2 ATMs in, and they put them right up front, like right in front of the Game Over booth. So it's like literally the first thing you see, even before Game Over, when you come in the doors, you see those 2 ATMs right there. And the guys at the ATMs, they told me that on Saturday, like midday, they went through as much cash as they went through all like last year at CGF. And I think that was like $20,000. Is that right? And then they put another 20 in there. And so I think by the end of like the weekend that we probably went through at least $50,000 or $60,000 in cash that was dispersed in the building just from the ATMs. Not to mention the fact that most people and vendors and stuff take Square and use credit cards and stuff now. But that's just the cash, which is only a small amount of the sale. So probably millions of dollars were sold in that room in sales over the weekend, which is nuts. But yeah, the ATM people just thought it was crazy that we, our event just, that we literally went through all the cash from all last weekend,
Why are
last
so many
year.
people using cash? Everybody has a card reader.
I don't know. Yeah, Dan is shocked people are using cash, but they do. It's still, I think it's a smaller percent, but because the crowd keeps growing, even a small percent, that keeps growing too. So, because if it's like 5,000 people and it's 10%, that's like 500, right? But then if it's 10,000 people and it's 5%, that's 1,000. So more people use cash just because there's more people overall. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's crazy. So tons of cash was dispersed in that room and tons of sales were made. So thank you guys again. Thanks to my employee staff, the volunteer staff of CGF, all the vendors, guests, musicians. Thank you to all the kids and the kids' parents who came to that costume contest. You guys are awesome. So I love the kid costumes every year. Every year it blows me away. And just, thanks for the support. I always appreciate your support of Game Over all year, but this is kind of the one weekend of the year that CGF happens. And so all the support that weekend, I felt it. I felt the love and support. So thank you for taking that time to take that 2 minutes and just to grab me and say, hey, man, thanks, or it's really a big show and really fun. And, people that gave me hugs and I like pose for pictures with people and means so much to me. So thank you for showing me that support and that, that appreciation, I guess, of what we do. So that was really, really great and meaningful. So thank you all for that. Thanks for watching this show. Thanks for watching Game Overcast. You get the news about Game Over, the news about Classic Game Fest, and get to see me now a little more relaxed. I'm a little more relaxed. But yeah, so thank you for your support on everything. Definitely subscribe to us on YouTube if you don't already, because we put out videos like this every week almost. So check it out. But yeah, thanks for your support in the stores of CGF, of the show, and everything. So I hope everybody has a great week. Try and stay cool. It is still freaking hot everywhere in the country. It's crazy. So stay inside, play some games, and we'll see you next week. Game Over. Let's talk about CGF, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the people that came to CGF. These guys came.
No.
They did. I saw them walking. I saw this guy walk in the hallway. I didn't see a Spider-Man this year. I've seen Spider-Man in the past.
No.
I saw some baby Grogu.
I did see some Robs.
You saw Robs? You saw somebody dressed as a Rob?
No.
Just Robs for sale.
I saw the Rob. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The actual Rob.
Okay.
Yeah. No Grokies. Pictures of Groki.
Are you saying Groki?
Groki.
Grogu.
Ricky.
What's wrong with you? Have you seen The Mandalorian?
Baby Yoda, for crying out loud.
If you've seen The Mandalorian, episode 2, he was clearly called Grogu. Actually, Baby Yoda is a misnomer. It's actually Grogu is his name. Thank you.